Well, we continue with the interviews with various stakeholders. We've been speaking to business people, speaking to politicians, speaking to ordinary people who are coming to attend this inauguration. Of course, the religious community is also here in full force. With me is Apostle Thabani Mkhize of the Mount Zion Church. As someone from the religious community, what are you hoping will happen after the president has been inaugurated?
After the president has been inaugurated, the first thing that we want to say is that this is a very great day because we are celebrating Africa on the same day that we're also inaugurating our president. What we expect as the church is unity, and we expect peace and prosperity for our land. That's the main thing that we expect. And then also, we must say this, that the role of us as the church is to pray and to pray and to pray for the government.
So that's what you're doing?
That's what we do. And then also we want to sit down and partner with the government and begin to have an input in everything that is happening, because we're also serving the same constituents. The same people that they govern are the same people that come to our churches as well every Sunday.
Thank you very much, Apostle.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
There was Apostle Thabani Mkhize there, and of course I'm just grabbing the longest serving minister of state of South Africa, Minister Jeff Radebe. I see you are making a slow entrance into the stadium. Hopeful, optimistic, looking forward?
Very optimistic. I think it's a bright new dawn today when our President Cyril Ramaphosa is going to be inaugurated here at the Loftus Versatile Stadium for the first time in the history of our democracy with the people of South Africa. We believe that going forward, things will be moving from good to good.
Minister, I think you are probably the best placed person to understand what is happening now and where we are, given that you have served since 1994. What do you think will be different in this administration?
Well, as I'm here today in the inauguration of our new brand president, I recall in 1994 when Mandela, our icon, was being inaugurated. I have that feeling today that the spirit of Mandela is being rekindled today for a new dawn, so that all of us can grow South Africa together.
Minister, I'm not going to tell anyone else. It's between you and I. The president is announcing his cabinet perhaps tomorrow. So are you in, are you out? Or if you don't want to talk about yourself, who do you think will make it?
Well, the constitution is very clear that the appointment of ministers is the sole prerogative of the president. So he's the best person who will tell you, but we don't have to wait too long, because I understand on Monday he will be announcing.
So are you willing to serve should you be appointed again?
Well, that depends on the president, but I'm a member of parliament. That's what is important now.
Thank you very much, Minister. There was Minister Jeff Radebe there. So who is basically the longest serving minister? So he has served all the presidents of South Africa. So he's really well placed to understand what exactly is happening where we are as the country. Sakina?
Swandile, thanks very much indeed. And that's just one of our reporters that is around the stadium here. Loftus Versatile. This is the center of attention today as new president, the 5th president of South Africa, is inaugurated in just under 2 hours, Setsepiso. And the atmosphere here, you
it's
can just start again.
Absolutely electric, Peter. The beautiful thing is obviously Lady Smith, Black Mambazo singing and bring about a sense of national pride. I don't know what you think, Peter, but I see a lot of that, people really owning it. You know, there's a new hashtag saying the people's inauguration, and there really is a sense, a mood of that right here in Pretoria today.
Well, let's carry on getting a sense of this mood. mood because, as I said, we've got a number of reporters, not just here at the stadium, but around the country as well, to bring you the South African story, celebrating this special day, the inauguration of Cyril Ramaphosa. In fact, one of our reporters is Nzinga Kunta. She's somewhere here in the stadium. Let's catch up with her now and get a sense of this atmosphere as we count down to that inauguration.
A very good morning to you, Peter and Thabiso. The stadium at Loftus Fairfield has come alive in the last half an hour, so especially the section where I've been standing. It's been very quiet since we've been here from 6 o'clock in the morning with no people in the section. Suddenly people are coming into it and the stadium is literally pulsating underneath our feet. We've just seen a group of Avenda women walk past us, bare-breasted, carrying baskets, making their way through the crowd. The Soweto Gospel Choirs performed, Ladysmith Black Mambazo's performed, and we're seeing dotted throughout the stadium world leaders. We're seeing cultural icons like Papa Penny a little bit earlier on, shown on the big screen. Dr. Cindy Van Zyl, a medical doctor who's very active on social media, as well as our former statistician general, Dr. Pari Luhota, all a part of this 2019 presidential inauguration that's set to start shortly. The program is supposed to start around 9:30. We know that President-elect Cyril Ramaphosa will only start taking the oath at around 11 o'clock. But in the meantime, we're bringing you the feel, the mood in the stadium, the different voices and faces of people who are here. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. Talk to us about where you come from and why you decided to make your way here today.
Thank you very much. I'm from Pretoria, and it's my first presidential inauguration that I'm attending. I wasn't going to miss it. As you can feel the atmosphere, the people are yearning for a change in South Africa, and we really believe that President Ramaphosa is going to bring that change, and he's going to be in the driver's seat, taking us forward, giving us a new feel in South Africa. Yeah, we believe in that.
And what do you think is the first thing that you would like President Cyril Ramaphosa to do after he takes on his oath?
I really think that maybe the first thing that he can do as he's a vendor, I think that he can go to Venda and develop that village, that site, because there's a lot that's missing there. The roads, there's no water some places. So I really think that he has to change there first before he can show other changes in other places. Yeah.
Talk to us about why you're here and what you're expecting to see. I'll hold the mic, it's okay.
Okay. I'm Rachel Mshivya from Lephalale. I'm so excited. More Cyril Ramaphosa. Ritomia officially. Lephalale ke 11 o'clock, and then I arrive here at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm so happy. And we are so excited. Thank
Ramaphosa!
Ramaphosa warinawe! Lots of excitement here in the studio. We are going to continue bringing you the different voices of the people who have made their way here from different parts of South Africa to experience the presidential election inauguration, 2019. My colleagues are all here, spread out across the stadium. Peter, for now, it's back to you in studio.
Thanks very much indeed, Nzinga. Yeah, we stationed just in front of the stage where it's all going to be playing out, and the stadium is starting to fill up very, very nicely. Just under 2 hours now before the president gets inaugurated, the formal program starting, and one just gets a sense that there's a newness, a new day.
Well, that'll be the interesting thing. I was thinking about the heads of state who will be coming in from the various, especially the SADC region. You would know 14 or 15 of those countries, very strategic importance to South Africa, and how much of a newness will be seen in the agenda, because a lot of the objectives are made very clear, especially when we talk about the free trade agreement. We've seen that has been something that President-elect Cyril Ramaphosa has emphasized as of great importance. But Peter, I'm just looking at the stadium as well. We see the South African flag flying high and proud alongside the African Union. That also emphasizing the need for a greater, coalescence of some of the major United States of Africa that the African leaders have been talking about.
Well, let's not forget that today actually is Africa Day, and the inauguration, it's no coincidence that they chose today to celebrate the inauguration of President Cyril Ramaphosa. So, the Organization of African Unity formed on this day in 1963, and so today you'll see, in fact, all of the SADC heads of states have been invited. We'll see those that actually arrived. But I know that there's a few others. Equatorial Guinea is here as well.
Equatorial Guinea, we've seen Burundi, we've seen
Swaziland,
Burkina Faso, we've seen also Namibia. Our neighbors are here, northern neighbor. Emerson Mnangagwa, president of Zimbabwe, is here. And we've also seen as far as the Seychelles, I believe, important heads of delegations from the United Nations, from the AU Commission chairs here. And we also know strategic partners in the countries that we do trade with, China, the United States, Donald Trump sending a delegation here. So over 2,500 guests have been invited for this event.
And also the Cuban first vice president is here as well. I believe he's part of a delegation that's come through. Cuba and South Africa, of course, have enjoyed a very close relationship for many, many years, particularly during the struggle years. And famously, Nelson Mandela refused to bow down to American demands that he doesn't meet Cuban President Fidel Castro back in the day. But he did that. He says he's not an enemy of mine, he's a friend of mine. So Cuba here to wish Cyril Ramaphosa well, as many as other countries here as we celebrate Africa Day, at the same time celebrating, of course, the inauguration of President Cyril Ramaphosa. 32,000 people expected to fill this stadium at Loftus Versfeld here in Pretoria. And I would say millions more watching on television, online.
And at a very strategic time, Peter, as you say, relations with Cuba having changed from the time when there was a ban against the country. Geopolitically, there's been a major paradigm shift as well. We've seen the BRICS countries, South Africa being part of that, of changing the world order, being at the forefront of that, of development. And we're going to see what will be interesting is what agenda of his own President Cyril Ramaphosa will push. He has been very big on bringing billions of rands of investment, foreign direct investment into the country. And we've just come out of an elections. A lot of promises have been made. So it's time for him to deliver the new dawn. It's time for us to fully appreciate what that means, Peter, because he's received a fresh mandate, and by and large, from what we've seen from the electorate, there is an excitement about him having to deliver on that.
He's made a number of speeches since his election victory not so long ago, and particularly when he was elected by Parliament as president, and one gets a sense that he's about working with people. Collaboration seems to be the word that's being attached to the president quite a lot more. And I suspect that that's going to be the attitude that he's going to be taking onto the continent as he joins his peers, the latest leader amongst them. So collaboration probably, especially when he takes up the chairmanship of the African Union in 2020.
In 2020. And actually, it's a very interesting time to take up that chairmanship, Peter. 2020 is one of the highlights in terms of the timelines that the African Union has given itself in achieving some goals, and a very ambitious one comes to a head in 2020, and that is silencing the guns. 50% of the continent ending or at least containing some of those conflicts, and it would be very interesting to see how he would then take over the mandate from Egypt. You remember that Paul Kagame, when he gave up the seat to Egypt, they just ushered in new reforms. So South Africa bearing a very heavy responsibility for the fact that we are also at the United Nations Security Council. pushing for major reform to benefit Africa as a continent. So very heavy responsibility he bears here at home, as you heard the Minister Jeff Radebe refusing to talk to Mzandile about that cabinet that's going to be announced apparently on Monday. So that should be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I think the speculation is out there, and people making up their minds who should be in and who should be out, but all will be revealed. And we're hearing conflicting dates, actually, whether it's tomorrow
or Monday. Yes.
We're not quite sure, but certainly within the next 48 hours, we probably will be having a government which is smaller, leaner, and ready to work, because a lot needs to be done in the next 5 years, that's for sure. All right, so we got a number of reporters, as I said, around the country and around the stadium, and thousands of supporters of the president who want to wish him well will be coming through via the the shuttles.
So that's entrance gate 2, but Sipho Setu Stearman, our colleague, is in and around the stadium. Let's hear from him. He's at the park and ride.